Hello.
Hello, can I speak to Val?
This is,
Hey Val, how you doing? This is Mark Gamarillo from Facebook.
oh yes, yes.
Well,
I'm doing good.
it's been a little longer than 30 minutes. My bad.
Oh yeah, that's fine. No, no, that's fine. I'm in the not busy, but that's fine with me.
Okay. Well, listen, I wanted to give you a call to see if we could have a quick conversation about the place that you're staying in and sort
Uh
of
huh.
your situation. Um, so how are things going? I know you mentioned you'd only fallen 1 month behind on payments. Um, are you in good rapport with the landlord, given that?
Yeah, like he's kind of been working with me for a bit, but I'm trying to kind of basically get caught up with him. He's very understanding of everything that's been going on. I was employed. It was only part-time seasonal, and then of course that ended, and then prior to that I was employed full-time, but then COVID hit. So, but I mean after that I got me another job. It was only part-time seasonal. So right now I'm back doing the job search thing again. So he's been kind of, he's very reasonable with me. He works with me a lot, but I just want to see if I can try to get help in any way that I can to get myself caught up. Of course, would be great.
How far back are you behind with them?
Mhm. A month.
And
I pay 1,200 a month.
that's what is it? That's 537 Glamis Avenue, right?
Yes.
Okay. It looked like a really nice property. I looked it up on the MLS. I think he bought it
Mhm.
maybe a couple years ago, but
Yeah, he
it
did.
looks like he updated it. Is it still in pretty nice shape?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he did.
Man,
He did a lot of remodeling and whatnot.
and it's just under 1,000 square feet, correct?
Yes.
And is it warm in the winter? I know we just had that blizzard, so you would know.
Yeah, it kind of is, but I noticed it kind of the insulation and there's kind of like in the summer it's very hot. Like there's certain parts of the house that stay cool than others.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's how it is. And we had a house on Pier and Beam when my wife and I first got married, and
Mhm.
it was cold. We had the old school heater, with the little gas, and you just sit
Mhm.
in the living room. So we slept in the living room a couple times, but I mean, it
Yeah.
it, it is what it is. So then you right now you're only behind on payments. You said how much was it? 400? Is that what you said?
No, I pay 1,200 a month in rent for him to him.
Okay, so you pay him 1,200 a month in rent, so you're only
Mhm.
behind 1,200 currently.
Yes.
And there's no chance that he's willing to forgive that, given the situation?
Yeah, well, he has already before. He had given me a chance last month. So then this month, of course, I told him just give me time that I would try to seek assistance. I mean, I did apply on another application. It's still, I guess they go down the list. I don't know how that works.
Right, there's loads of people applying, and I know that
Mhm.
they're getting ready to send out another stimulus, and connected to that should be some rental assistance. I don't think
Mhm.
the government is going to back pay, but I
Mhm.
do think that they'll help cover current rent. So, like for instance, they
Mhm.
won't cover February, but let's say you
Yeah.
got it in April, they would
Mhm.
in April start, passing on money to you or to the landlord, themselves. So let me tell you what I do specifically.
Mhm.
I buy property. That's what I do.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
given the situation that we're in, there are some
Mhm.
landlords who have like loans on the house that they're renting out, and so
Oh, okay.
they have to pay a bank, and I'm pretty sure there's a loan on this place too. I looked it up. And so sometimes when you have 10 or 12 properties and 7 or 8 of them are having trouble making payments, landlords can kind of get disgruntled. I'll tell you a situation. I was in a home where the refrigerator stopped working a month ago, and
Mhm.
one of the pipes was busted from the freeze, and the landlord
Mhm.
didn't want to fix those things because they hadn't
Mhm.
paid in 6 months. And
Oh, I
so
see.
the people are, they're using just the igloo ice chest trying to keep things
Mhm.
cold. And I went in and I said, okay. I talked to the owner and I said, look, man, they're not being taken care of the way that they need to be. The situation
Mhm.
is tough given, with COVID and everything. Uh, I'd like to buy the property. If I buy it, I will provide them money to make a deposit and possibly even get a U-Haul so that they can,
Mhm.
find a new place to live. But if I buy it, you forgive their debt. Meaning, so like this
Oh, okay.
specific family owed like $8,000 in back rent this person wanted to collect. I said, no, if
Mhm.
I make you a cash offer and I buy it and we avoid any commissions to anybody, I'm
Mhm.
gonna help them find their new place. They don't owe you that money anymore, and I, obviously pay you to purchase the property from you. And
Oh, okay.
quite a few landlords have done that. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if yours would be interested in that. I know that he has 12 properties total. 11 of them are
Yeah, he
rental
did.
homes.
Mhm.
But you said right now he's been really cordial with y'all.
Yeah, he has. He's a very good landlord. I'm like glad that he's my landlord.
Well, if I were you, I mean, keep my number.
Yeah,
Um,
I will. I will keep my your number and I can let him know about that and see.
Well,
Um.
I can reach out to him, and I'm going to reach out to him anyway, just because
Mhm.
I have his information from public information. So this doesn't even
Okay.
have to be connected to you. Don't worry about that. But I want
Okay.
you to keep my number because if he ever becomes not patient, if he ever
Mhm.
does get disgruntled and you're starting
Mhm.
to kind of worry about this, if you get to where there's a lot of back pay and he's expecting it, that's when I want
Mhm.
you to give me a call because I
Okay.
can get him to forgive that if I buy it at the right price. Like
Okay.
it may be that he says, "Well, I want 120,000 for it." And I may say,
Mhm.
"Well, I can only do 112, but I'll do 117, but you
Mhm.
got to forgive the debt of the renter that's in there." And a lot of
Yeah, I
times they'll
understand.
say, okay, they'll forgive whatever your back pay was. I'll give you 12 to $1,400 to put a deposit down at your new place. We'll get you a U-Haul. We'll help you get your stuff moved over to that new place. But you are fortunate, praise God, because he's working with you. He's been
Mhm.
cordial. Your place is in good
Yeah.
shape. So I agree with
Mhm.
you. You should stay right where you're at.
Yeah, I am. That's why I'm just like, I mean, he like, I've never been blessed with the landlord like him. He was to the point where, see, this house was supposed to be purchased between me and someone else. They decided to back out on me the day of moving, the day right before moving, not even a 24-hour notice. It was basically like a bad relationship, put it that way. Well, he
Terrible.
went. We did, yeah, we did the signing. We did everything. When I told the landlord that I clean houses like on the side for, I clean houses like for people houses that people move out of. I do houses, and he was like very interested, and he's like, I have a house that tenants getting ready to move out of. Can you go and get this house ready for moving? And I said, all right. So I got me and a female friend that I take with me that we go and do houses together. We went, we knocked the house out. So he was happy about that. He's like, I appreciate it. Now you can just get ready to go do your house before you move in. So long story short, I went, I did that. Then I get the text message from this person. The reason I got that house was because, of course, you have to have like 3 times your rent amount. You have to have good income. A lot of times they go based off of credit. Well, the landlord even decided since they opted out, but they had already signed the contract, he didn't even bother taking them to court. He was just like, Valerie, don't worry, don't panic. You're not going to be homeless because of them. I will work with you. I'll give you time to come up with the rest of the money. So he's working me since day one. Like as far as because I was in a homeless situation,
Yeah.
and and I was being actually like, I mean, literally led like the lease, everything was already signed, everything was a done deal, and
Hmm.
they just opted out. And he was like, if I wanted to, I can take them to court. I can have them responsible for have them pay the deposit and whatnot because they are entitled to do so because they are already had signed the lease. But he says, what, I'm just gonna remove that person off. Just they don't have no business at this property and blah 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 and whatnot. He goes, but I'm gonna go ahead and work with you. So I like I said, I've been blessed with that landlord, and right now my main thing is trying to, of course, get caught up. And he knows I'm waiting on my taxes, and when I do that, I'm gonna hopefully get caught up with him.
Right. Well, if you get
So
in a situation where he is disgruntled or it becomes too much where it doesn't make sense for you to catch up because you kind of need that money for future because who knows what's going to happen next,
yeah, of
um,
course.
then please save my number and reach out to me. I'm happy to do what I can to possibly help.
Okay, that sounds good. I will go ahead and do that. I appreciate it. And if I come across anybody else with the information you gave me, I will let you know or let
Yeah,
them know about
Val, do you
refer
happen to
them.
have any friends who are in the same situation who haven't been able to make payments?
I can ask. I mean, um, I can think of off my head, not right now, but if I do, I'll go ahead and give them the number
Yeah,
or
do
have
that
them
for
call you.
me. Do that for me. There are
Okay.
people who owe $6,000 in back rent, and they're about to get their stimulus. And what they really
Mhm.
need to do with that stimulus and invest in what's going to happen over the next few months, not give $6,000 to a landlord for a bunch of months that they couldn't pay. And if
Yeah,
I
of
can
course.
buy the property, they can keep their money. I can, pay off the landlord, get him to forgive the debt, and then everybody's happy, you know?
Yeah, true. That sounds good. Yeah, but I'll go ahead and keep that in mind, and I'll get in contact with you
Yeah, and if you
back
know of
again.
anyone, reach out to me, and if I buy the property, I'd be happy to send you a $500 referral for bringing that person to me.
Okay, that sounds good, sir. I'll go ahead and keep your number in contact.
Okay, I appreciate you, Val.
Okay. I appreciate you too. You
Okay,
have a great day.
you too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So that's how some of these conversations are going to go. And this is a niche thing that I've just started doing. Really, it was my first full weekend this week. I'm reaching out and having renters contact me because a lot of renters are worried about all this back pay that they think that they're going to have to make. And if they're able to, then that's great. But some of them are still struggling to find a job or getting enough hours because of everything that has gone on with the coronavirus. And so my motivated sellers, I don't know if they are until I speak to the person who's renting their property. I guarantee you, I'm going to come across 5 to 10 people who say, this is wrong with it. This is wrong with it. To be honest with you, Mark, I haven't paid in 5 months. He's looking for that $5,000 and we're about to get some stimulus, but I can't give him all 5 grand because I don't know what I'm going to do the next 3 or 4 months. Then I get to say, hey, in my mind, I get to say, this is a good lead and I can pay this person off to leave. I've already built a cordial relationship with them. They're going to let me in. They're going to let me get it appraised. They're going to let investors in that I want to see the property who are going to wholesale purchase this property from me. All I got to do now is all I got to do now is have that conversation with the landlords. Val is my equivalent of, you got any other properties you're willing to sell? See, with the tenant, you say, do you know of anybody else who's in this situation where they haven't been able to make payments? And if she does know somebody, I'm going to get that information. She said, oh, yeah, my girlfriend, Brittany. I said, okay, what's Brittany's name? What's Brittany's number? Can you shoot her a text, let her know that I'd like to help her if I can? And so the tenant gets to leave. They get their debt forgiven. They leave with money to go to their next place. They've got that burden off their back, that 5 grand that they're not going to have to pay. The landlord has the burden of the house that's getting messed up that he didn't want to or she doesn't want to invest in because people haven't been paying. And we get the property and we get to wholesale it, make a $7,000 to $12,000 assignment fee. You can do it, guys.